This is Gina. Thank you for joining me for this Astrology Chat Live for February 7th, 2025. Today I want to focus on the Neptune North Node conjunction that perfects today, but it's active for February and March of 2025 because these planets move quite slowly, these points in the sky, in the case of the North Node. And so when Neptune finally moves on to Aries at the very end of March, that will break up this direct conjunction. But it is active for quite a long time. And this isn't, if it isn't rare enough, we have a Neptune North Node conjunction every 17 years. That isn't the only thing that's happening where this alignment is concerned. Let's just take a little bit of a look around at what's going on here. I need to get Mercury in this as well. Okay, there we go. So not only do we have the North Node, it looks like headphones here, coming together into an alignment with Neptune, which happens every 17 years. It's also happening at the same time that Saturn is working its way through this sign and house. And we also have Venus here, who's a part of this alignment, because Venus just moved through Pisces and is just over the way at the very beginning of Aries. And soon, on February 1st, will go retrograde and move back over, this part of the sky as Neptune is moving into Aries. Mercury will also have moved along here by that point. Mercury will go retrograde in March as well. They'll be moving back together with the sun in the sky at the same time. So this signature really carries more than just your average Neptune North Node conjunction, which in itself would be enough. But it being at the late degrees of Pisces, it having all of these other planets involved as well, I feel like signatures from Aries are so present as well because of the way in which things are moving back and forth across that degree point. So today I just wanted to talk about basically 7 things that we can lean toward during this time that I think will help to maximize the positive potential of this transit. And so I'm mainly focused on the North Node and Neptune when I thought of these, but I also was thinking about some of the other things going on in the sky at the same time. So I will put them up here just for people who are coming in late and to help with clarity. One thing that we can really work to lean towards during this time is vulnerability. But I think that not with everyone. With discernment, we can lean toward vulnerability, right? But if we can know those places where we're sort of safer if we're vulnerable than if we're not, those are the good places to open up and really be yourself and share how you're feeling and allow the sensitivities to come to the surface. In those connections where vulnerability, being yourself, opening up and really sharing your feelings is received with an unconditional love, not a place where that's taken advantage of and used as a weakness. So I think that the nodes having just moved through Aries and Libra, right? This North Node Neptune conjunction, it's like a conversation between these two planets. They've both, Neptune's just been working through Pisces, the North Node's been working through Aries, and here they are coming together for the first time in 17 years, and they're talking about where they've been. And where the North Node was most recently, these last 18 months, was in the sign of Aries. And when the North Node is moving through Aries, it's working on bringing in it's a little bit easier for themes around bringing in what is uniquely you, your own individual path, what you like, your uniqueness. It's easier for all that to come to the surface and for us to remember sort of who we really are and what we're here to do. Um, give me just 1 second. Okay. Thank you. Um, excuse that pause. um, so the Neptune conjunct the North Node, when we're talking about this vulnerability, we're carrying that signature from all that work we just did in Aries. And we have learned to listen to our own voice in new ways. And so now we're ready to be ourselves more authentically in places where it's really safe to do that. So that is one thing that I think we can really lean towards during this time, with people and in places where it's really safe to do that. So, number two, the next thing I think that we can lean towards, it's sort of similar in a way. It needs a little bit of explanation, just like vulnerability did. The idea of surrender. I think that North Node, good morning, Miss Tal, good morning. Great to see you. Um, I think that the North Node in Pisces, all of this activity in Pisces, not just the North Node in Neptune, but everything that's going on in there, is pointing us in this direction of surrender. I've said this before, so forgive me if I've said this before, if you've heard it before, but sort of this idea of surrender from again a more evolved place and understanding now that we've worked through the Libra Aries axis. It's not about letting go of control and letting other things guide you. It's not about surrender like giving up, waving a white flag, and moving off to the side. It's not that kind of surrender. It's surrender to sort of your inner guidance, to your higher power. Surrender to what feels good and away from what feels bad, you know? Um, by this surrender, I mean trusting in what's around you to guide you, not listening always to the I have to do this and I have to do that, and the sort of inner dialogue, monologue, scary stuff that makes us just keep pushing and working harder. I think that we can move to a place where we listen more to our intuition. It's that kind of surrender. Surrendering to your intuition. So, like, yeah, maybe even just in little ways. Like if you're driving home from work and you think, maybe I'd like to go a different way today, you go ahead and do that. That's a creative decision, actually. And sort of surrendering to those little instincts, those little intuitions, those little, ooh, I feel like this. And even though it doesn't really make sense, I'm going to do it anyway. Especially where it concerns our body, listening to that inner voice. If it feels like, I don't know, you want to go and get changed into this warm sweater, even though you are already wearing a perfectly wonderful outfit and that seems silly, just going and doing it so that you're sort of caring for yourself in that physical way. Noticing if you're a little uncomfortable and making yourself more comfortable. It sounds so silly, but it's crazy how often we don't do these things. So surrendering to your inner voice, to your intuition, to what feels good. That's something else we can lean towards during this time. This is actually just very simple, very material. Anything involving water would be helpful during this time because there is just so much water in the sky, right? So I mean this for all of February and March, not just for right now. And it's not just about the Neptune North Node conjunction. Drinking water, eating foods that have like a higher water component, like, just more like cucumber and things like that, sort of making sure to drink and eat your water. Taking showers, taking baths, really sort of using that as a bit of a practice to let go of what isn't working anymore and wash it away and let it go down the drain and be renewed and refreshed. Walking places near water, enjoying the snow, enjoying the rain, gazing out at that. Anything with water is helpful during this time. I think that this is a good time to lean toward sensitivity. Another word that can sometimes almost sound like a negative or something that we shouldn't be doing, like surrender. Pisces sometimes sort of goes against our modern culture, that is a little bit more maybe Capricorn, right? It's a little more keep pushing, move forward, work, little at a time, keep going. You'll make progress, focus on sort of material progress, but not as a diss to Capricorn energy in any way. And there's a lot more to it than that. There's so much stability, loyalty, all of that. But just to say that Pisces is bringing in an energy where we're just so sensitive. And I think it's okay to lean towards that, to notice how things make you feel, to notice what your unique opinions are about things, to notice how things affect you and how things affect others, to be sensitive to other people and be more compassionate than we usually are, to bring that in on a new level, to bring service in on a new level from a place of sensitivity and compassion and listening to our inner voice, not just doing what we think we're supposed to do. It's a sensitive time, and we can learn a lot from that. I feel like we're seeding the future right now. We're dreaming the dreams that can come into fruition in the months and years ahead. So sort of being a little squishy, a little emotional, allowing yourself to get in touch with your real feelings right now is important. It's a good time for it. It'll help you sort of align as we move forward. Okay. Another thing I think we can lean toward is dreams. I'm sort of building off of what I just said, but I also mean literally. So yes, I was just talking about sort of seeding the future in terms of planting the seeds of what we can manifest, what we want for going forward. And this time is very potent that way. But we also might actually dream a lot. So paying attention to your dreams, maybe keeping a dream journal, allowing yourself a little extra time to sleep, allowing yourself a little extra time before falling asleep or after falling asleep, perhaps writing down a question if you have it in your dream journal that you want your dreams to answer for you, and seeing if that helps. It's a great time to lean into any kind of dream work, literally at night or figuratively during the day. This is actually my number one tip. This is the most important thing. I'll leave it big. I think that this is a wonderful time to re-up any kind of spiritual practice, to meditate more, to walk in nature more, to pray more, to write in journals more, whatever it is that you do that's spiritual. This is a really great time to lean into it with all this Pisces energy. You'll get further with your practice than you usually would, and your practice will be more beneficial in the rest of your life than it usually would. And it's always incredibly important and beneficial. So all this Pisces energy really, really lends itself to anything soulful, spiritual. And this actually goes really well with my next point, which is to listen to any place where there might be like a higher calling. And that isn't just spirituality, right? It could be feeling a part of something bigger than yourself when it comes to your spirituality. But it could also be some sort of feeling like there's something you ought to be doing. You ought to be getting involved in to help others. Or that something is your purpose, or someone is your purpose. All kinds of different things can rise to the surface in terms of feeling called, drawn to something bigger than yourself, letting go of your own sort of unique perspective, stance just a little bit in order to draw into that higher calling. So these are some of the themes to lean toward during this time. Like I said, really February and March. Yesterday's video might be worth checking out. If you enjoyed this video, I think you would really, really enjoy that one. It's all about the timing of this Neptune North Node cycle. And I talked about the last time we had Neptune conjunct the North Node, which was in 2008, and it was conjunct Chiron. So I talked about that and what that's all about and where it was in the chart. And then I also looked at the 2041 alignment, which is the next one. It's kind of interesting because it's skipping over the sign of Aries. So I'll link to that here. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'd really like that one. And just thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will be back again tomorrow.